This is a marvelous quote. Open your eyes and the whole world is full of God. You know how we know that's true? The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. Everything that dwells in it. Well, last Sunday morning we talked about the monarch butterfly. And this Sunday morning I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about the hummingbird. Smallest of birds. As small as 5 centimeters. And they go up to about 8 centimeters in size. Absolutely stunning creation of God. The work of his hands, without a doubt. And they actually are very unique. Let me just show you some of the uniqueness of the hummingbird. You can fly up to 35 miles an hour for a little guy. That's real movement. And in fact, they can fly. Their migration from Alaska, for example, to Mexico is 2,500 miles. And so they can cover a lot of ground. They are about the only bird that can hover in one place. And that's because their wings go in a figure 8. And that's how they're able to stay still while they're feeding off a plant. Of course, what's interesting is that our military, the Pentagon, is studying the hummingbird because they're trying to duplicate robotically, trying to make robots that can fly as well as the hummingbird, and they have not been able to duplicate it or even come close to it yet. The robots are still very cumbersome and don't have the precision, the exactness of the hummingbird. He can actually fly backwards. No other bird can fly backwards. They can flap their wings as slow as 12 times a second, but up to 100 times a second. Now that is, my recollection is that is about 5 times faster than the prop of an airplane can turn. And that equates to up to 6,000 RPM. Amazing, these little creatures. Some of them weigh less than a copper penny, although they're really good at eating. They eat nectar, insects, and spiders. It's amazing, if you check it out, the amount of research on the hummingbird right now. I already mentioned that the Pentagon is studying it to create robots, but until now we haven't had the cameras capable of 1,000 frames per second speed of camera, so that could record fast enough that when we slow it down, we can actually see their flying formations. And to watch them pull an insect out of the air is an amazing, amazing scientific thing. When they eat, they can consume up to 12 times their body weight in a single day. And that's because their heart's going fast. In fact, their heartbeat goes up to over 1,200 beats a second. So I'm not worried too much about my AFib right now. But of course, as you can tell, this kind of heartbeat and this kind of activity, this little guy has to consume an awful lot of food, and so he does. Well, the great thing that we want to know, and it's based on this verse, that who knows not that these things, the hand of the Lord has wrought this. And like all of the species, over 300,000 species, every single one of them designed by God to function within certain parameters. And so we're going to just take a look at some of them. Last week, the monarch butterfly, today, the hummingbird, in whose hand is the soul of every living thing, the breath of all mankind. Another little quote, this one comes from C.S. Lewis. We cannot evade the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. And he walks everywhere. Incognito. the Lord is displaying his great creative personality throughout the whole world. In the skies, in the oceans, on the land, in the earth. Amazing. It ought to be a great joy to us to look at his creation, because every single flower, insect, beast of the field, fowl of the air, fish of the sea, every one of them is simply an outlet for the creative, glorious personality of God. Imagine what this wonderful being of God must be like. One of these days, we will move out of the animal kingdom and out of the biology, the botany kingdom, and we'll show you some of the facts about you. And they're pretty amazing too, because God is your Father. Amen? Amen. Amen. So learn to love the Lord even ever deeply as you observe his world, his creations. And so that's the little guy, the